I sit in the where it's like Dave Johnson was to say. I mixed about I didn't know, but it was the pastor's wife. She was a joke. So preacher, some of you, God wants to do this. I'm there. My heart's beating. He an altar call and feeling me, like a literal person pulling me. Now, of course, I didn't know it was spiritual or none of that. I just thought, okay. I go up to the altar and I basically am at the altar and I say, God, I don't know nothing to do everything. I'll lay down my life about state. I'll go here. Saying this, I hear an audible voice, not an inward Holy Spirit speaking, not a voice outside of me saying, Isaiah, I don't want 99.9% of you. So I was raised in just a really, really good Christian home, but I can to me for how a real relationship with Jesus, God, mattered to me, any type of connection with him. And I remember how this aunt that had so many near deaths, and so I was like the guy in the family growing up in my teenage years, even younger, or just died. It was like almost a joke. Like, man, he always almost dies, has these crazy experiences. I remember years old. I was with a friend of mine in a large metal barn, feet tall. They had this was used to plug-ins. And I just watched a documentary about Jesse James and the Outlaws. So it was me and my buddy, and all the parents were gone at something. And I said, man, I'm an outlaw. So I put my neck in this chain, large metal chain, and I put my hands in that chain like this with neck, joking. Hey, look, I'm an outlaw. I'm being hung around me, swinging on this chain, 12 years old. And I wake up and my hands are to my side. I'm like, and what I didn't know what had happened was I was hanging, passed out, the chain, hands were to the side, and I just thought, I guess I'm dead. I mean, I'm hanging up in the air. There's no way I'm going to get off of this. My hands are to the side. I'm just complete check. And I felt what I could only describe as the softest years old. But I felt hands, and you know it's impossible for a chain to be opened up, tightened like that. I fell to the ground on my knees. I remember my knees hurting because I hit the ground. I crawled to the corner and gone from not breathing. I crawled to the corner of the barn. I'm pounding the ground, trying to breathe. I can't breathe at this point. I'm pounding the ground. And I'll never forget this memory of looking back at 12 years old and, raised in church and decided that God's not real. God doesn't care about me. Just thinking, looking at that chain, seeing that chain still tightened up in the air, thinking there's something trying to kill me. There's something trying to kill me. And then something saved me. Was it an angel? Was it I don't know. I just know there's a fight going on for my life. And my neck. I got on my bike, rode home a mile down the road. I should be dead. An angel pulled me off the rope. My mom's crying. Rush all comes over. Am I suicidal? No, take my life. Just accidentally hung myself. And honestly, I should have talking about it because there was only an angel that day that pulled me off that rope. They were laughing themselves. In reality, I didn't. I just had accidentally hung myself. Angel pulled me off open for about three chain marks that were like blood marks of that. We went to the doctors and said, yeah, you definitely shouldn't be alive. This is a miracle. And God spared me. Other time I could recall me and my brother driving in the back of this trailer, and a friend of ours was driving a tractor. We were going 35 to 40 miles down the road, and we're on a country road. I grew up in the country, and we're in this little trailer, and he ended up turning onto a road, and the trailer broke, flipped upside down. So me and my brother upside down in a trailer. He doesn't know this because the tractor's so loud. My friend's driving. He doesn't know we're back there upside down in this trailer. He thought everything was fine. We're getting drugged under a trailer at 45 miles an hour, a mile down the road. And in that moment, how to watching myself being drugged down the street flipped the trailer over when we got screaming, not a scratch on us. I mean, I had a little scrape on my arm, but me and my brother were completely fine. Another time that got, and then, years went by. Just remember growing up, that was my dream. And so I was, 12 years old. I wanted to be 16, 19 years old. I wanted lives and all. This was my dream. And I got to a place where I was just bitter. I was hearted. I was anxious on going on shows. Literally, want to talk about I was at the parties, doing older than just broken, just lost, and God, I had no interest in God. It was like God was 100 billion galaxies away, and I had no desire to serve Him, no desire to know Him. In my 40-year plan, God was nowhere in that. That's where it led me anxiety. The joke kind of like Isaiah been. I literally would sleep until 1 p.m. almost every day I could because I hated getting out of bed. I was so depressed that I had to living in black and white, and was with a girl, was with this girl, and sleeping in. I was depressed. Racist. I was angry. I was racist. I couldn't cry. 10 years I didn't cry. No emotions. Didn't know how to show. Didn't take pictures with anybody. Literally for years, there was no pictures of me. Like my parents, we had a funeral for my grandma years ago. I just didn't take pictures. I was just bitter. I didn't know why. And people were like, that doesn't make sense. But I was always, when the lights were off, when I was taking a shower, the lights would be in my room. Mom loved the dark. I just very depressed. Then on the other side, the second level, I was, graduate high school at 16. I was at college at 16. One you were my son and called me out in pornography, lustful, angry, racist, bitter, hard-hearted Isaiah that no one knew lives. And I started watching, here I am, 16, claimed had tractor been dead, almost drowned as a kid, fell out of a car as a kid, hung myself over level 19 years old. I didn't go to church through. So 16, I decided I don't believe in God. I became a self-proclaimed atheist. And some of you say, well, what is it? God? I wasn't like deep into atheism, but I don't think God's real. I don't want nothing to do with the dirtiest mouth of all my friends. Just very, very dark, but the devil just turned me into. So I'm 19 years old. Whole life's planned out. I'm about to graduate college. I'm getting hired as a bag. This is my dream. I'm with this girl for a few years, and we're gonna get married. We're gonna settle down. 40 years old, I'm gonna do this. 50 years old, I'm gonna do this. Everything's perfectly planned out. My little sister won't stop bugging me. Isaiah, you got to go to church. You got to go to try God one time. I promise you that God will show up. I promise you'll feel God. And I'm like, I don't want to go to church. I have no interest. I'm gonna one thing. God is not real. And making months, she's still bugging me. I say, you got to go to church. So I said, I went just to get her to stop, to shut her up talking. So we go to the church in Modesto, turning 20 in May. All this stuff's going to happen. All my global crisis is the world's starting to lose my effort that I was involved involved in it. And I'm starting to have questioning of life. What is it? I'm looking up going, more to life than this. And again, I get emotional talking about it, but I was so lost and broken going, I had no direction. And years I spent just same parties, same people, same clubs, same shows, same mosh pits, same drugs. Those were heated, we used to say. Like, man, is this really what I want for my life? And so I said, you know what, I'll go. I'm on the world's eating running out of modern food because I'm watching all these Netflix documentaries. I go to the church, the preacher's up there, and I remember when I stepped
Grandpa, when I'm found with her, I pray.
All right, I'm pretty sure y'all can hear me now. So, what up? What it do? It's your boy JDQ with Vision IBTV, and in advance, I'd like to thank every single one of you guys for joining me in tonight's show. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown me thus far. Like, I really, really do appreciate it. Um, and also in advance, I'd like to say that you guys have got to be the greatest supporters or audience that I could ever ask for. And I truly do mean that because some of you are new, and that's fine. Like, obviously, the more the merrier, and the more new people that arrive, the better. But some of you have been following me from the main first channel of your boy JDQ, where I used to host a lot of interviews with predator catchers and people within that community. And, a lot of you know from there. And to go from a channel that has already been established and has already grown to the amount that it's grown, to start a second channel pretty much from scratch, from the bare minimum, pretty much from nothing, and get to where we're at now in such little time. Because I want to say it's been like maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 months, maybe a little more, since we actually gave this second channel like a second wind of air of life, second wind of air, second wind of life, and really did try to amp it up a little bit and just kind of like move things around and modify certain things about the channel, um, rescheduling certain things, being able to work with the team a little differently, etc. And it has not been easy. I have gone through so many issues, whether it be technical issues, whether it be financial issues, whether it be scheduling issues, whatever the case may be. This second channel has given me the most issues and problems and challenges, um, that it's just weird. And I understand that in the long run, I guess when there's a lot of challenges and something that you're doing, that just means that the reward and the blessing is much greater. I'm a firm believer of that, at least when it comes to endeavors and personal like businesses and all that. That's always been like my mindset. But people like William, um, I mean, he's one of the better examples. He says he's been watching me for over 2 years now. Um, and it's funny because this second channel, I mean, it's extremely small in comparison to the main channel. The main channel is well over 75,000 subscribers or something like that. And I'm not even that. I am managing it in some way, shape, or form, but I'm not active on it. So it's kind of like, it's a huge difference. But anyways, yeah, I again, I want to thank you guys in advance for being here. So before we get into the show of tonight, we will be talking about certain things that have happened within the music industry, the entertainment industry, and of course, overall news in general. And we'll get to that in a few. But before we do, um, the only sponsor, quote unquote, that I have thus far, because I mean, this channel is not monetized yet. It should have been, but because of a recent stream that I made like a few weeks back, the channel got flagged. It got like a strike on the channel and not on the actual video. And now I have to wait until June to apply for monetization. So it's going to take a while. But one of the, I guess you could say, sponsors, quote unquote, is eyesclick.com. And I will tab rule y'all who I'm talking about. Eyesclick.com. I'll be completely honest. It's not like I shop there often, but I have purchased one or two items in the past. And I'll just tell you straight up, everything that I have bought from them, I always get compliments on it, and people always ask me where I get it from. People always tell me, it looks really nice, and it's because, this brand or this company, all they really do different is it's all lab created diamonds. So the only difference with that is that the diamonds are lab made, but they're the highest grade lab made, right? Uh, I'll show you guys what the actual website looks like so y'all can get an idea. Um, but yeah, like, uh, there we go. All right, so that's the website right there. Um, there is a discount code that either it will automatically be inside the description area after the stream ends, or I might have to put it in there like, manually. But I do have a coupon. If you click on a link, I am an ambassador for iceclick.com. So, I think it's like 10% that you could get off if you're trying to buy something from them. William's saying something in the live chat, and I'm going to answer that in a second. But yeah, just real quick, I don't want to take too long on this, but yeah, so this bracelet that I have on, it's from there. It's iceclick.com, and the metal, it's mixed in a way where it's durable. It's not fake metal, it's real metal. It's a really unique combination of different metals between like white gold and brass and other stuff. And they do it that way for a certain, like, specific reason. But it's very, very durable. I have not had a problem. This has not discolored. This is not, you know what I'm saying? It's not been faded away. It's kept its color. It's kept its composure. The diamonds are all still there, And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's really great jewelry at an affordable price. Top of everything else, you're not buying something that has to deal with blood diamonds. That's one of the main reasons why from places like iceclick.com, because it's non-blood diamond related jewelry. So if you go to like a regular jewelry store at a mall or something, the diamonds that are on those jewelry pieces typically and commonly do come from sites that are like blood diamond related. Everything from iceclick.com and other like buying jewelry all the time, but when I do, it's from places like this that don't deal with blood diamond related purchases. That's another thing to consider. But yeah, so that's one of our sponsors. That being said, I'll bring up the first comment in the live chat, which, by the way, everyone joined it in the live chat. You can comment, just say like hi or what's up or what. The live chat area. If it's something that most supporters know me for, it's because I do try to keep up as best as I can with the live chat, and multitask and share the news and all that good stuff. But William says, I think your raffle idea is a really good idea. It's like anything, all takes time. The world wasn't built over the weekend, takes time. Yeah, I know. And the raffle, that's still ongoing. That's Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I'm glad that William brought it up because, I have been getting gradual, like, positive response on the raffle days. Sometimes it'll be people that are already part of the community, which is fine. But, the whole point of the raffle, which, again, it's on Tuesdays and Thursdays around 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, is to get as many people here, therefore giving more people a chance. I'm someone who give the community. I like, being that person that you can say, like, oh man, I can't believe I got this great deal or this great prize for just like a pennies on the dollar or like $1. We have the lovely, beautiful Emily Rose. Everybody give her a round of applause. Thank you, Miss Emily Rose, for stopping by. I appreciate your love and support. But yeah, I really do want to be that guy where you can kind of like turn back and say, dang, I can't believe he gave this out for like $1. you know, a comic that's worth like 30, 40, 50 bucks or more for $1. Like, where else do you get that type of value? Where else can you actually have a chance like that? There's not too many places out there. You know what I mean? So yeah, on Tuesdays and Thursdays we have the raffles for the comics, which, by the way, I have to double check, but I think there is still like 20 entries left, if I'm not mistaken, for the Silver Sable and the Wild Pack issue #1. Once we get those last 20 entries in, we will put the names in the randomizer, and I'll let the computer or the algorithm pick a winner, right? But yeah, so that's still going on. So tell your friends, your family members, your neighbors, all that good stuff. Now then, getting right into business tonight, because yeah, the time does not stop, nor does it rewind. It just moves straight forward, right? I was sharing a video earlier. Some of you may have caught it. It's from the De La Soul YouTube channel, and I'll bring it back up so we could watch a little bit more of it. But I figured it was a good testimony to share, because, while this is not a Christian channel, because it's not, I am a believer. I am a Christian. I might not be hot in the faith Christian, like, all out, like just no holds bar, like, going out there, like, and preaching and stuff, like how I used to back in the day. But obviously I still am a Christian. I still am a believer who does look to share great testimonies and share the love of God and like the gospel every chance I get. And obviously this channel, in essence, what it does is it goes through the music industry news and the entertainment industry news, and pretty much like brushes through it and like analyzes it, and pretty much uses the Bible as like a filter to kind of like see where does that take us in Bible prophecy. Like, this happened in the whatever music industry, or this is going on in the music industry. How does it correlate to stuff in the Bible? This happened in the entertainment industry. This happened in the news. This happened around the world. All right, let's see how that correlates to Bible prophecy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Also, we do try to decipher and look into like the signs and symbols that rule the world within the music and entertainment industry areas. So, that being said, it's always good for me to like share anything that will, bring some clarity for any believer, and at the same time for anyone who isn't a believer, some type of light to be shed on certain topics, right? So I am gonna pull the testimony in a second, so we can kind of like watch a little bit more of it. But it is titled, "I was an atheist until this happened." The rest of the testimony pertaining to this guy right here. Let me just put there we go. Oh, you know what? Here, let's do, there we go.
Never converted to church again. I want nothing to do with, I don't know what was an angel. Walked in going, I feel different. I've church from the ages of 0 to 16. 3 years now, I've not stepped in a church, and 3 years later, going, man, I feel something different here. So I sit in there, it's taped off. You're not supposed to sit. I'm making jokes about I didn't know, but it was the pastor's wife. She was a worship leader. I'm making sexual jokes. That's how far I am. That's how far do you have to be where you're sitting? Friend. Here you have your friend on one side, one of my buddies, Logan. My girlfriend on this side, making sexual jokes with wife. So there I am, make jokes, just lost and broken. The preacher saying, hey, there's some of you in here, this, I'm there. My heart's beating. He makes an altar call, and I feel something pulling on my shirt. I feel something drawing me, like a literal person pulling me. Now, of course, I didn't know it was spiritual or not. I just thought, I go up to the altar and I basically am at the altar and I say, God, I don't know if I believe, because I really didn't believe in you. I said, but if you're real, I'll give you everything. I'll let my life about it. I'll go here, I'll go there, I'll do this. I just thought God wasn't real. So I thought I might as well just go. I could just make all these claims, and I'm so desperate for God to be real. I wanted so bad for there to be God. Even though I'm an atheist, I wanted there so bad to be God. I wanted so badly something to be out there to say, you're not here by accident. You're not a clump of cells that's evolved, from 10 million years ago. I wanted to matter. I wanted a purpose. I wanted to be, that's why I wanted to be in law enforcement, because I wanted the atheists to know, God, help people. How does he have destiny and purpose? So I wanted that, but I also didn't believe God was real. So here I'm at this crossroads at an altar, a Christian church. I don't know how I got there, saying, God, I don't effing believe in you. But if you are real, you're not, so who cares? I'm saying, I'm like, why do you gotta stay? I'll travel, I'll preach, what does this even matter? And as I'm saying this, I hear an audible voice, not an Holy Spirit speaking, not a voice whisper. I hear an audible point from the out of a loud voice from above me saying, I don't want 99.9% of you. Now, first of all, the God of the universe, the God of 7 million people, the one that was and is to come, says my name. That changes everything. God says God knows my name, and there is a God. So here I'm having this, there is a God, he knows my name, and wait a minute, he doesn't want 99.9%. God was, I don't want halfway. I'm not interested in, of course, I didn't know Jesus said, and here God is saying, I don't want 99.9% of you, but it'll give me everything. I'm going to use you. And so from that moment, I was seeing bright light. I was in another place, no longer at that light in front of me. Is it God? I couldn't see. It was just a bright light speaking to me. Isaiah, this is the people. I'm now seeing all that God has done for me. I'm now realizing, because I grew up knowing Jesus died for me. I prayed sinners at every camp and every event. I prayed it. I knew Jesus. I knew he died to me, and I decided all that was full. Now, the reality of the cross, the reality of who Jesus is, the reality that God is real, all the reasons I'm up in is now like all me in the face at once, and I'm having this spirits for uniqueness, I'm broken. I have nothing to offer God. So now my thought is, well, I don't know. I have nothing to offer you. I literally told God that I have nothing to offer you. And then his response was, I'll take your hands, I'll take your feet, I'll take your mouth, I'll use your body. Give me your body. And so I'm in this experience, just light everywhere, and I don't know what's going on. I come back into my body, or whatever it was, that experience, I'm kind of awake, and I'm speaking in a language that I've only heard one time in my entire life, and that was when I was a vivid memory of 6 years old, that age range, of seeing my parents pacing in a living room speaking in this unknown language. So I've heard it one time, and I remember thinking at 4 or 5 years old, what are they thinking? There's weird language, and that's the only memory, because my church that I was raised in, they didn't speak in tongues, or I didn't know what tongues was. Here I am back in my body, speaking in that language that I heard when I was 4 or 5, and I have that vivid memory, and I'm like, what is this? What is this language I'm speaking? I'm trying to cover my mouth because my girlfriend's next to me. And my girlfriend she didn't ask me, how did she get here? What am I saying? I'm covering my mouth. Tears gets me. I'm thinking like, I'm crying. I'm speaking in this language. God is real. This is tonight. Knowing that, like, and I get emotional, but it's like, my life will never be the same after this. After this moment, I'll never be the Isaiah before. Something's happening in my God's real. And as I'm crying at the altar for the first time in years, friends that had overdosed and family died, I could not cry. Hurt's coming out of my eyes, and maybe you my unbelief in you. I know coming out of my eyes, not spiritual, not in the spirit. And I'm rubbing my eyes. I'm seeing just like it was just like dust in my hands, a dirt clod. It was just dust in my hands, and I'm wiping it. And okay, out of my eyes. I'm seeing this. The pastor gets on stage and says, "There's 500 young people at the altar," and the pastor says, "There's a young man in this room right now," and God says the dirty scales are being removed. And he starts going on about Saul. I'm going, what is happening? What's going on with me? And I said, God, I don't have nothing to offer you. God says, all I want is pray 1 hour a day, and I'll show you the rest. The service is over. Now, I thought I was at the altar for 1 minute. Okay, 1 minute went by. It was a flash, an encounter. And so the service gets over, and my sister comes up to me, and she's like, are you okay? Because I mean, she's like blown away. She's been inviting me for 6 months, and I'm over here crying, and I'm like, hey, I need to go. I don't recognize. And I could say this, I didn't recognize anything. I didn't recognize the people I was, I didn't recognize the colors of the building. It was like a new creation. I mean, it was a new, and so I didn't know, hey, I believed in the gospel. I believed in Jesus. I turned from my sin. I said, Lord, I'll do whatever will serve you. And then here I am, don't recognize nobody. I said, I got to get home. I get home long, and I'm hearing from God. I'm praying. I'm like, what's going on? Night number one, I'm up all night long. I didn't sleep. So this is 2 days not sleeping. I believe it was the second or third day. I have college. I got to go to school. My mind is blown. God is real. I'm deleting. I get home. I delete all my downloaded bootleg music. I delete all my unchristian music, 40,000 songs, by the way, because I was very into music, into a band, all that. I go delete all my bootleg DVD movies. I break all my video games. No one told me to do this. There's no preacher saying, you need to go break your games. I just got so radically saved that I was like, I don't want anything to get in the way of what God is doing in my life right now. So I delete everything, throw everything out. Everyone's like, he's going crazy. What's going on with him? We don't know what to do. I go to college, and I'll never forget, I'm in my car driving to school. I pull over on the side of the road, and I'm just bawling like a baby. I'm just crying. I'm looking at the sky going, this is like the first, because this was, I feel like I've never rapped. I feel like I've never seen, the sun was so big, so like, and this is so cheesy, but I have no shame in, I literally saw like this butterfly on the freeway crying like a, what is my Civic Type R, cool 4-inch subs. I was like, I thought I was in California, crying. I'm like, never seen a butterfly. Like, I just had this, because I was born.
Here's buying online. Until you watch this.
I was this new person that I didn't even, sitting in class, and all of a sudden I start like hear what the guy is going through, like, man, his life story, like, head, and I'm, did you know, what are you talking about? And I'm hearing about how he was and how not being, now it was giving me a knowledge. So I just thought, I'm a psychic, I don't know what's going on. So I started for people free, and I remember demons and angels over and having this is a natural route open, and I can't handle it. At that time, I've never missed a day. I had straight A's. I was the teacher's pet. Leaving class was like a mortal sin to me. Like, I don't leave class. I was a professor. Get in my car, and now I'm just like 20 minutes and walk with me. God, is this God the devil? I'm hearing voices. I'm seeing angels and demons. I'm just overwhelmed. So at that time, I've maybe shared this one other time. I had music deleted. Thick iPod, 120 gigabytes. My parents had gotten it for me in my glove box with all my music on it. And I'm going like, God, and I'm in my car about to leave my college thing. And I said, God, if you're real, there's 4 gigabytes. This is old, super thick back. Oh, if you're real, you can speak to me right now. And mind you, I did not listen to Christian bands or metal bands. Other than that, I didn't listen to Christian music. I hate songs. And the song, you can look it up to this day, was called Isaiah, which is my name. It was from a band called For Today, a Christian band. And the Here I Am, I'll go to the nation, do what you want to do. I broke down crying. I said, Lord, say no more, I'll never doubt you again. I drove home, and that led to days of not sleeping, about 3 days, not eating. God, I was just sharing my testimony in my living room. They were getting saved. My brother got saved. My sister got saved. All as radical as I got saved, they all started being saved. Just hair lit on my brother, my aunts, my uncles, my cousins, my friends I was partying with. They were like, where's the party? I was like, come to my house. And I would just, in my living room, share my story of what God had done. People started coming, manifesting demons. My first time I cast out a demon was 15 days after our tournament. So December 30th, I'm at a beer pong tournament, January 15th of 2000. It was from death to life. So here I am, my uncle, who's a big part of my life. He was in ministry for 30 years. They said, he's crazy. Bosses. We sat down 14 hours straight. I talked to him. He said, okay, what do you want to do? I said, all we're going to do is pray. And God says he's going to Bible to my home. That led to a prayer meeting, me sharing my testimony, and within 400 to 500 people coming to my house, hearing me share my. And mind you, in a pretty big country property, I told my mom, we got to move out all the furniture. We got to move out everything because God says there's devil. You're mine. And here I'm safe from being an atheist. And I'm telling you, there's going to be hundreds of people coming to our house. For TVs, my house I got rid of because it's going to show up here. So literally the only thing in my house, kitchen table, the bedroom, the living room empty, the kitchen empty, just one kitchen table, some chairs, and an empty room. And I started preaching, and hundreds of people started coming. People were outside looking through windows. Miracles were happening. My aunt, who was born deaf in one ear, who's very well known in the hospitals out here, she got her hearing back, brand new eardrum. My cousin was deaf in one ear, got hearing back. We had a guy who was in a wheelchair for years walk. We had people that were blind get their eyesight back. A bunch of my friends were getting delivered of demons. At that time, I'm saved several days. God is moving. Stuff's happening. I want to share this, though. I remember after getting saved, every time I would share my faith, I would feel something in me wanting to come out of me, like this dark thing talking to me. I don't want to be here. Leave me alone. Like another voice in me. So here I am sharing my faith, and I'm having this weird thing where it's like I wanted to cough. Like I wanted, almost like I wanted to growl. And I'm like, what is this? I'm saved. I'm speaking in tongues. I'm full of the Holy Spirit. I'm transformed. I'm no longer saying the F word ever the word. I'm no longer desiring women. I literally can't even check out a girl if I tried. Here I go from being lustful, cussing, dirty, everything bad to now I'm God. I want God. Now I'm like, I'm feeling this thing wanting to come out of me. And so I was actually at college witnessing, and I felt something like trying to come out. Well, I guess maybe you won't leave me. I'd seen people getting delivered. I knew it was in the Bible. In my car, I tried to get it out of me, and it's like start witnessing to a guy at Starbucks, and I'm feeling this thing as I'm sharing. I want to like cough or growl. It's the weirdest feeling, like going like like this thing growling out of me as I'm trying. So I'm like, this has to be a demon, and I'm hearing this voice, not leaving. I'm not leaving. I don't want to be here. I'm not. So it's like saying I don't want to be here. Then it's saying I'm not leaving. It's a demon talking to me. What is this? So the only one I knew that could really do this, cast out a demon, was my little sister, because she invited me. And so again, I'm saved a few days. This was a few days after that encounter, and I know I spoke a few days after. I'm sitting there. I told my little sister, "You got it. There's something in me, and the Bible says demons in Mark 16. You guys, so I told her, whenever you're ready, just command it to leave, and it's going to leave. And my little sister, who invited me to church in my living room, said, command every spirit to leave him, every spirit that's there from his past, and they were there from my past. They have to go. And I go from standing up, I've fallen back, I'm screaming on the top of my lungs. And this thing, the spirit, is coming out of me. And my sister, what is your name? And I'm hearing this voice speak out of me. My name is shame. We don't want to leave. And again, it was just not one, but there was this spirit of shame. And then she cast it. I felt it leave my body. And then the next thing, lust comes up. And what are you doing here? You need to leave. And I'm just sitting there as these demons are speaking out of me going, what is going on? My little sister fully these demons, all those demons, eye contact for the first time that I can remember in my life. So think about this. In law enforcement, they were like, Saldivar, look at me in the eye. You have to make eye contact. It's disrespectful to not look a law enforcement officer in the eye. And my lieutenants, all the guys I was doing college law enforcement with, they would get mad at me. You need to look me in the eye. I don't know why I couldn't look people in the eye. I didn't know why I loved darkness. I didn't know why I had dark circles around my eyes. From that moment on, where those demons left me, I was able to make eye contact. I felt no voices ever again. I ran to the mirror. When I got delivered, I ran to the mirror and I just cried and cried. I don't even look the same. I'm so different. So I was born, I was saved, God changed me, but there was still these things, these spirits from my past that never were cast out, that I never dealt with. Now, I didn't know the Bible, said you need to go cast. I didn't know all that. I just knew there was something living in me that I didn't do, preaching at the revival, God moving, people inviting me to come in. Looking back, I look back at all the times I almost drowned as a kid, times I fell out of a car. I fell out of a car as a kid, could have been dead, should have been dead. Almost fell out of the car on the freeway, overdosed, and the doctor said, overdose on alcohol. The doctor said, you shouldn't even be alive. I was in Huntington Beach partying. They said, you should be dead. Hung myself at 12 years old, should have been dead. Drug under a tractor, should have been dead. The last time that I had a near-death encounter where I almost died was literally 2 months before I was saved. This is something I maybe shared once or twice. I was at a wedding at a hotel with my girlfriend. We were at the 13th to 14th floor, somewhere around there. It was 1 a.m. It was over. We were partying. Obviously, I was completely wasted drunk. And I'll never forget this. This is probably 2 months before I got saved. I'm in my hotel room. I drank a bunch of alcohol and I heard this voice say, jump off the balcony. Now, I just have to say this. I've never been suicidal in my life. I've never wanted to kill myself. I always got taught growing up, like, you don't commit suicide or that's automatic, you go to hell. I got taught that as a kid. But like, even as an atheist, I was like, I'll never take my life because I don't, even if it's a 0.001, I'm not make sure that people listening don't think I was suicidal and I don't paint a false picture. I wasn't. I didn't want to take my life. Here I am in a hotel. I'm about to get saved in 2 months. I obviously didn't know that. Voice is saying, jump off the balcony, jump off the balcony. And I'm like, I knew I didn't want to. So overwhelming. This was like telling me jump. So
Are you tired of ideas and just feeling like a phony? Well, do I have a thing for you? See?
I told my girl, man, voice telling me, she's like, oh, just go to bed, you'll sleep it off. Morning, I'm laying in bed, I wake up, or I'm like halfway in that part where you're sleeping, you're not awake, and this voice is so strong, jump off, just do it. Who cares? No one cares about you. Nobody knows. You have no purpose. You have no destiny. It's telling these things. So I go over to the third, I'm on the hotel balcony. No, I don't want to jump off. I don't want to, but I have a great life. I don't want to jump off, and I'm battling this voice, but I'm so strong that I was minutes from, I think I'm just going to do it because it was supernatural. Couldn't explain. So as that happening, there's a voice going like, go lay down, go lay down. I know now it was God speaking to me. I didn't know that at the time. So I was like, this voice telling me go this. And so I went and lay down, and then 2 months later, I ended up getting saved. Back, I'm like, I think that was the devil to be like, I'm going to take this guy out before he does anything, from the house church to a building to another building. Preach 500 churches in America. And this is what I can honestly say. This is the best way I could describe is I feel I'm going to wake up this at least every week. Supernatural dream that will took me from being this broken, depressed, angry, bitter, atheist. Think about that. Like atheist to revivalist, only God can do that. Like to this day, I'm like, Lord, it was only, I have no way I could have done any of this. I still don't know how I'm able to do what I do. It's by then, you know, now we have this online ministry. Last month, we reached 40 million in 1 month. And I realized I had 2011 where I was in stadiums. It wasn't a real, you're going to reach millions of people. It was physical, but also been a dream that I got from. It's been supernatural. Again, there's so many. Man's done such an amazing work in my life. For all the listen, you're watching this going, how could God do it in me? I probably can do it in you. Maybe in bed at night and look up, go, there has to be like I was, and you're going down that path of life. Man, if God can do it in my life, God can do it in your life. I know God will. I know Buddhism, bodies restored. I've seen marriages restored. I've seen break all my addiction in one. And did it for me in one moment. I know God can do it in anybody.
All right, so if y'all want to check out the rest of that testimony and every other testimony that's on that channel, all right, it's Della Soul on YouTube. All right, so he said a few things that I want to touch on real quick before we go through some of the news that I reached out over here. You know, there was a moment where he said pretty much basically that that he saw stuff in the supernatural, right? Let me tell y'all something real quick, man, because a lot of you are like I forget which disciple it is, but I know someone's gonna correct me or mention the name in the live chat. I think it was Thomas, who said to Jesus after Jesus resurrected that he needed to see and feel the holes within his hands to believe, right? And a lot of people nowadays, it's like, even if they were to, that's the sad part, even if they were to see Jesus in person right now, even if, I mean, let's get something straight. The presence of God is really unique and is really, there's no way of doubting it. However, I feel like if someone saw something in the supernatural nowadays, they would initially have some type of trouble believing it right away, because there's so much deception going on, visually, you know, whether it be deep fakes, whether it be AI produced visuals, whether it be, you know, whatever the editing softwares, the list goes on, and people have become less trustworthy of what they see, right? So even if they do see something in the supernatural, it's like they'll ask themselves a million times over first before like immediately like believing it, right? But what I was going to say with that is the supernatural world, right? the world that we cannot see, the world beyond the world that we live in. All right. That you can only experience and see when you're like really, really close to God, when you're really connected to the Holy Spirit, when you're really in deep, whether it be in prayer or fasting or whatever, that's all it really takes is like a strong prayer life and a really strong and close fasting and prayer life to like see and experience natural. But that world that we can't see right away with our carnal eyes is more real than the world that we can see. And that's something that a lot of people like forget. Well, I can't say they forget because if they don't really believe it, is, man, I'll just put it to you this way. What happens in the supernatural realm, what happens in the spirit world, if you will, whatever happens there, there's fruits of it in the physical realm. So, for example, and this is something that Pastor John Ramirez talks about all the time. There's certain things that happen in the spirit world, right? Angels like fighting for like your freedom, angels fighting for your peace, angels fighting for you to receive your blessing. And when I say fighting, because they, you do have actual limit angels fighting battles for you when you are praying and when you are reaching out to God and when you are putting God at the center of your life and you're truly, genuinely, and I really, listen, there's a difference between doing a superficial prayer, right? There's levels to prayer, a prayer life. It's kind of like there's layers to the sky and the atmosphere, right? So that first layer, right, is like when you're just kind of like praying your whole like routine prayer, like, God, bless like my father, my mother, my sister, my family, blah blah blah. That's like that second layer is when you start getting a little more specific. When you're like, Father God, look at my father's health situation. Look at what he's going through in his body. He has that situation in that one body part. That's like the second layer. The third layer is when you're starting to pour out your heart and spirit and soul in that prayer. So you're being specific, being more, but you're like pleading. You're like pleading for that situation that you're praying for, right? So like, Father God, like I trust you, like I trust your hand over like my father's life, over his body, over his sickness. I trust you wholeheartedly, blindly. Like I have all the faith that you can and will heal him if that's your will. That's like that third layer. Then beyond that layer, that fourth layer and beyond is when you are just like, you are seeing yourself before the Father. You're visualizing yourself before the King of the universe, the Master of the universe, the God that created the heavens and the earth. You're like visually like placing yourself before him and having that actual legit personal exchange, like as if you were talking to him face to face. When you put yourself in that position and beyond, the things that happen in the spirit realm when you pray like that, when you break through those different barriers of prayer and you get more personable with God, when you get more personable with your heavenly Father, the person who created everything and the entire of existence, when you start breaking through those layers of prayer and you get beyond specific and you get beyond personable and it's like everything changes. Like that's why there's different verses in the Bible, if you go through, that talk about it, how when such and such person was praying and they were having like this intense conversation, personable conversation with the Lord, the Lord sent out his angel, forward to like, send the message or send the blessing or whatever. That's not a metaphorical thing. That's an actual thing, a legitimate thing that happened. People need to stop. A lot out here taking the 40. Listen, man, the Bible is real, is more real than anything that you and I can experience nowadays. Everything that's said in the Bible, obviously, you have to read within the context, right? If you're reading a book that is strictly poems, you like the Song of Songs and freaking Proverbs and Psalms and all this other stuff, that okay, cool. And even within those books that's like poetry and all that, there's still foreshadowing of a lot of things that are prophecy and all this other stuff. So even within things that are like supposed to be romantic and like poetry, even within that, there's still proof within it. But yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. I just wanted to say the spirit realm, the spirit world, the supernatural world has always been, always is, and will forever be more real than what you and me are experiencing right now. Like what you and me see with our carnal eyes, what you would experience with your body, right? Your flesh and all that. Yeah, you can feel it, right? You can touch things, you can feel things, you can hear things, you can see things. But whatever we experience here, like a lot of times, not always, but a lot of times, wouldn't even be possible if something didn't happen within the spirit realm first. So keep that in mind. All right, so changing topics a little bit. Apparently, the guy is continent. Don't worry, I'm never seeing it. I know a lot of people would probably jump on that wagon to do it. However, I'm not doing it because I'm trying to be careful with what type of like content I share on here. That way the channel doesn't get another strike. I already have a strike on the channel. I just recently got enabled to, be able to like stream and post content again a few days ago. So I am treading or threading very carefully. I'm being as careful as I can to not get like a copyright strike or guideline strike or whatever. So, that's one of the reasons why I'm not going to share it. But it is going on. So let's not, let's not pretend like it's not, because it is going on. There's not a lot of news within the music industry that I really care to touch on. There's a lot of stuff going on. But it's nothing really worthy of like sharing, to my opinion. I did have a few tabs pulled up earlier, but I kind of like went through them and like kept reading the headline, and yeah, to my opinion, it's not worth sharing, man. So I do apologize if y'all were like expecting like some really like off the chart, like exclusive like news and all that, but there's just really, like, as always, some really weird, crazy outfits in Met Gala right now. What the heck? Oh my goodness, yo. There is something I do want to talk about though, and I'll bring up the tab with image or the thing I'm gonna talk about in a second, and it is a very important topic nonetheless. But William says governments and people above us, celebs, etc., they hate God as they want to divide people's minds, to hate each other, steal off each other. Can't show each other sick things. People of faith to peaceful. The reading the Bibles would scare people. They tone for the years, freak people out. Yeah, man. Yeah, I know. People want to live their lives as if they had like no one to answer to, and that's. I've said it in the past, and I will continue to say it again because it's truth. If people hear it, if it hurts you, society intentional, it's something that you need to be confronted with. But the majority of people, one of the reasons why they don't believe or they don't want to believe is because believing will put them in a place where now if they believe, they have to, how do I say this in a very nice way? They have to allow God to mold them. And notice how I phrased it, because people love like twisting words around, but I phrase it that way for a reason. So God doesn't want, like when you go to God and you say, here I am, and like I want to believe you, I want to follow you, right? He's not forcing, telling you to like change anything specific, and that I mean now and then with like specific, people, because there's a specific purpose behind it. Change will come, whether it be at the moment, like the testimony that we just saw, or it might come over time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's instantaneously, and sometimes it just takes a little time for God to mold you or mold us, right? But people are scared of that type of change, and it's crazy. It's crazy when you think about it, because there's nothing that God asks of us or wants for us that isn't good. Everything that God wants for us has always been and will forever be good, and will always be the better option. The problem is that we are so self-entitled and we're so selfish that we want to do things our way. Like we want to do things, because, like, and the thing is, a lot of times we don't even take responsibility for doing the things that we did the way we did them. Even if it was our way, like we'll still find something to nitpick and argue about and kind of like call out and say, oh, I wish this would ever happen, or this would have never came out the way it did. But we forget that we're the ones who chose to do things a certain way because we wanted to do it that specific way, etc. So, whether it be because you want to take responsibility of your own decisions or whatever, or if you just want to be selfish, it still reflects on when someone doesn't want to follow God, or when someone doesn't want to live a life for God. That's what happens. It's they don't want to go through a change that they're not personally like making because they're scared. They're scared. You know what I'm saying? What if things don't work out? What if things get worse? What if, who am I really going to go to if things don't work out the way I wanted them to, etc. But people need to understand, again, God will never tell you, ask you, or guide you to do something that is not the best choice for you. He will always lead you to better options, better decisions, better goals, better blessings, better opportunities. That is always the case. That's always the case. I don't care how much you argue that, and I don't argue that what's best for you. Just the case is true. Like if you're going to put yourself in a position of being more knowledgeable than the person that created you, you have some serious problems. You have some serious issues in your head. And I say that not to offend anybody, even though it sounds offensive. Like, I'm not saying it in an offensive way. I'm just saying it just doesn't make any sense. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who really knows better for a child? The child or the parent? Who knows better? It's as simple as that. People want to get really philosophical or scientific about it. No. Real quick. Who knows what's best or better for a child? The child who has only like 4 or 3 years old, or the parent that has had years of experience and truly knows what's best for that child? Especially if it's a loving father or a loving mother or a loving, loving parents in general, But anyways, I want to show y'all something that, in case you guys were not aware, I need to see this because, and I know my coworkers, if they come across this video, they're going to laugh at this part because we've talked about it, Eric, and you know they laugh about the topic and we laugh it off or whatever here and there. But in reality, it's something that needs to be talked about, and it's really, really, really terrible. So if y'all want to get your popcorn ready, your soda, or whatever the case, do that. Strap in. It's going to be a very interesting and bumpy next couple of minutes. Let's see. Okay. Yes. Oh man. Let's need to pull the right thing. Okay. I pulled the right. But yeah, let me just pull the trailer from somewhere else. Give me 1 second, guys. I apologize. I do apologize. Usually quick fast with doing this, but two things are happening. The speed is not the best. Like the internet speed is not the best right now. And I'm wanting to pick the right trailer for you guys to see. But yeah. Say the school teacher no more about it. Yeah, man, no. Oh no. Do not trust teachers with your kids, y'all. Sorry, do not trust with your teachers. Or do not trust your kids with their teachers. Okay. Okay, I think this might be. Let me just double check. I'm gonna try to like watch a little bit of the trailer just to make sure that it's the one that I want y'all to see. There's different versions to it. All right. Almost done watching the trailer. Okay, this okay. This trailer might work. I apologize. If you were staring at my face for the last like minute or so, I apologize. I didn't mean to freak anyone out, but I just want to make sure I had the right trailer before sharing it. So, because there's, is it gonna say the last? Hey man, I appreciate that, bro. Dead Swiss which is actually one of the bigger, greater supporters of this channel, says, "You showing all the symbolism and seeing it everywhere, music and the state of the world, opening my eyes. I'm still a noob, but I'm researching and learning," and that's what it's about, man. Also, let me say this real quick, okay? Let me just say this because so doing your own research is extremely important, right? And that word and that phrase, a lot of people hear it and they roll their eyes or whatever. But so it's the best thing you can do for yourself, because I personally don't trust, at least not right away, mainstream media. I don't take the word for it away from the get-go. But also, I also don't just doing a quick Google search and like whatever first comes up on a Google search. Why? Because there's a lot of money in the algorithm involved, okay, that pushes certain narratives or certain facts, or certain information to the top of that list. You know what I'm saying? With SEO, right? Search engine optimizing or whatever, or ads, or paying to be at the top of that chart. There's so many things that go, are involved with like what comes up first on the search, and a lot of information gets swept under the rug because of the algorithm favoring one thing over the other. So no, I'm sorry. Doing a Google search on a topic and saying, "Oh, this is the first thing on the list. This is the first thing on the top of the list. This must be legitimate. This must be correct. This must be right." No, that is not always the case. Matter of fact, that's almost never the case. For the most part, whatever is at the top of the list is because, again, it was either paid to be at the top of the list, or the algorithm already has an agenda and has pushed it to the top of the page. All right. And yes, it's been proven time and time again over time. Sadly, there's a lot of things I would love to show you guys and share with you guys that would be evidence to that. But again, it gets swept under the rug. So it's hard. It's really difficult to like keep up with all that and save an image or save a video or save, I don't know, a blog that someone posted and shared with like some additional evidence, because it gets swept under the rug. It happened during the COVID time. It happened during the streets being emptied. It happened when the hospitals were emptied. It happened when people went out to record and do streams. Those videos got brushed under the rugs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So doing your own research is beyond doing a Google search. Like sure, you can start with a Google search and go from there. But what I've learned over time is to, go beyond the Google search. And I know it sounds messed up, and some people are going to be like, see, that's too much. If you need to go down the rabbit hole, go down the rabbit hole. As long as the information that's being presented is consistent and accurate, and there's evidence to back it up, then do it. Go down the rabbit hole if need. I'm not saying to always do it. I'm not saying to always automatically go down the rabbit hole, but many times going down the rabbit hole, again, only if the information, okay, has evidence to support it, and there is accuracy to that evidence and that proof, and the person sharing that information is a person who has knowledge within that field, like an actual nurse, an actual like science, an actual doctor, whatever the case may be, and they're like independent like workers. Those are sometimes, or many times, the best to listen to, because they're actually taking these things and stressing it themselves. They're not going based off what's being said in the narrative, in the mainstream narrative. They're actually doing tests. They're actually doing things to find out how legitimate the information out there is. You know what I'm saying? So many times the independent people that are like bringing information are the most trustworthy people. But anyways, that's completely aside from the topic that I'm going to show you guys right now. Real quick, is there is a lot going on within movies, music, and yeah, that's good. That's what says I try to throw a wide net and sort it out for consistency. Good for you. There you go. It's best using the other countries' networks as Google, etc. Shadow ban real news about wars, etc. People know the news line covering up. That's what's yo. All right, let me show y'all. Well, before I share the preview or the trailer, let me ask y'all something. And I want the live chat to please be as interactive as you can. If you need to answer the answer in the live chat a billion times, you have my permission to do so. Okay, I don't think the Nightbot is going to bother anybody. Hopefully not. But go crazy with it. All right, I'm going to ask y'all a question, and I want y'all to answer in the live chat and go nuts with it. Like, go crazy with it. How many times, whether it be on the main channel, your boy JDQ, or on this channel, how many times have I talked about and brought up the whole situation about maps, right? Minor attracted so-and-so, right? How many times have I discussed or brought up the topic of at some point eventually that is going to be allowed? How many times have I brought up, different articles talking on how eventually at some point, whether it be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's going to be legal to have a certain situation between a grown person and a child. How many times have I talked about that? Let me know in the live chat right now real quick, because what I'm about to show you guys in a few seconds kind of sort of is like a segue, or it is kind of like a bridge talking about that topic in a way. But let me know in the live chat. Let me know in the live chat how many times have I brought that topic up. Go ahead. I'm going to wait because I'm not going to move forward until I see the live chat lit up with the answer, because it has a lot to do with the trailer I want to show you guys, man. This is getting wild out here, yo. This is getting wild out here, and it's easy to mistake entertainment it's easy to mistake and not see the reality within entertainment. But again, how many times have I brought up the topic of at some point eventually in the future, whether it be near or far, grown people having certain amicable relations with children? How many times? How many times have I brought it up? How many times have I discussed it? How many times have I mentioned it? And the reason why I'm asking is, like, I want to know that I'm not crazy. I need to know that it's not just me thinking that I've brought this up many times before. But let me know in the live chat. How many times have I brought it up? Go ahead. I want everyone to respond. I want everyone to answer that. And yes, that is a legitimate call to action. Type in the live chat how many times I have brought up that topic. That's what says 37 times. That's fair. I'd say it might be that or more, but Will, Emily, how many times? How many times have I brought it up? William says a good few times. Who else? Who else says JDQ has talked about it and warned about it? I see a few people in here, so that's the only reason why I'm even. William says not enough fingers to count. All right. So 420. We're already passed, my friends. Oh, and although I don't celebrate it, I'm aware that it already passed. But okay, so I'm about to share a trailer, and y'all need to see this because it's something that I just listen. I'm going to eventually watch the movie because I need to dissect it and I need to analyze it and I need to scrutinize it for myself and make my own commentary and feedback on it. But y'all need to see this, man. I'm hold on. Let me before I share it. Let me just make sure. Also, please make sure there's no children around. Make sure there's no minors around. Okay, I'm not. It's nothing really like extremely. You know, it's not something that should be censored per se, but it is something delicate and it is something kind of like whoa, you know, like that's like really that's really like weird and nasty. Just make sure there's no kids around. All right, that's the only thing I'm gonna say. Here. Okay, so ready?
Wait, I'm cleaning in
I
here.
knocked. Isaiah, is it okay if I come in?
Yeah.
Doing, which I like to interrupt, Doc, and I'm sorry. But what you were doing was completely natural.
Pay attention, y'all.
And to be man, not to be sure you weren't feeling strange.
Pay attention. Pay very close attention to the.
I love you.
I love you back.
Hush, 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 you can just
Now, did y'all catch that? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for y'all to chime in. Let me know if y'all saw what I saw. Let me know if y'all understood the overall message or the plot of the movie. Let me know. I'm gonna wait in the live chat. Go ahead. I'm gonna wait because I've been saying this. I've been warning about this. I'm not Nostradamus or nothing like that. I'm not a prophet, nothing like that. I don't claim to be one, nor would I want to be one. But I'm telling y'all, you know, whether it be in the music, whether it be in the movies, the TV shows, you know, there's a lot of perversion going on. And that movie Could be. I'm not saying it is. Let me say it again. I'm not saying it is. And I'm not saying that it will be. But it could be. Could be a catalyst for, a lot of changes to happen moving forward within certain rights for certain movements. Because as you can see in the trailer, so just to do a quick commentary, this kid, he's making himself happy in his room. He's making himself happy in his room, and his dad walks in on him, right? And he catches his son, making himself happy. And the father has that, that one-on-one with his son, like, hey, it's nothing to be ashamed of, it's okay. Didn't have to be weird, blah, blah, blah. It's natural, it's normal, etc. Which, by the way, no, it's not normal. And I rebuke it. I rebuke any person, whether it be a therapist, a psychologist, or a doctor or a nurse. I rebuke you if you ever do say that it is normal and natural. Is it natural to have that feeling and that overwhelming sensation of wanting to? Sure, yeah, that part is natural. But what isn't natural is giving into it and making it a habit and normalizing it. That's not good. It's not, that part is not natural. All right. But anyways, so dad tells him, it's natural. Don't worry about it. Without knowing that, yes, that his son is making himself happy with a picture of him, of his dad. How mind-blowing is that? How crazy is that? And then throughout the trailer, you see a few times throughout the trailer where after the child grows up, he's being playful with his father in a very disturbing way, to say the least. You know what I mean? Grabbing his buttocks and doing this other stuff. Again, I have to watch the film to make a better review and dissect it and analyze it and make sure that I'm not assuming a lot of these things. Just to make sure that I'm not, talking without having a clear and like an actual witnessing of the events that the plot and all that. Well, no. So William, real quick, that's the crazy part, is that it's not the father, it's the child who grows up to be a very perverse-minded individual. The father's not trying to do anything with him. The dad wasn't even aware that, that the kid was doing what he was doing, thinking about his father. So the father has nothing to do with it. But the perversion here is that the child, the freedom that the child was given at the time, because of it, the child, according to the trailer we just saw, grows up to be a very perverted individual in that sense. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was gonna roll with. The fact that they're making it out to be that it's the child who wanted that from the get-go, and it was the child who had those urges and those sensations and those desires from the get-go, is the route that people that I've talked about in the past are going to gravitate towards. They're going to say, oh, but the child wants to, or the child has this desire. They want me this way. They want to, experience this with me because they have that they feel this way towards me or whatever. That's what they're going to say. That's what certain people of older age are going to say when trying to push forward their agenda. Yeah, that's crazy. But anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys in case you haven't seen that trailer or the movie and all that. If you're going to watch it, just make sure you don't have any children around. Make sure you don't have any minors around. It's not. I haven't watched it yet, but from the trailer itself, I don't think it's a movie where any minor should like watch it or even come across it. So that's my only warning in that sense, of if you are going to watch it. But if you are going to watch it, then obviously watch it. Keeping in mind that if you do watch it, it's just to like dissect it and just to analyze it and see the agenda behind it. It's not a movie really meant to be enjoyed, at least not in my opinion. It's a movie to be dissected. It's kind of like a heads up, if you will. William. That's funny, yo. You funny. You are funny. So I'm not watching that. Yeah. Sadly, I'm gonna have to watch it just to give you guys like an overview, like a legitimate like feedback and analysis of it. So yeah. Taking one for the team, if you will. But yeah, that's what I have for tonight. There was a few things that I did want to cover, but I'm gonna have to leave it for another day. Yeah. I'm seeing some people with a thumbnail is like reacting to the trailer. Matter of fact, here let's I'm gonna do like there's a whole compilation of like a reaction to the to the trailer. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing because it's like 30 minutes long, but I will watch one reaction before I close things out officially for tonight. I'm gonna watch one reaction real quick because it's crazy, man. It's a crazy plot. It's a crazy plot. Isn't your lad shows? No, I didn't hear about that, man. That's crazy. That's wild. Oh my goodness. In the speed, bro. This internet speed is trash right now.
Hey, YouTube. So, you're talking about this new movie Johnson's or something. So they want to see me do reactions because I do reaction videos on Snapchat, and they think it's I was like, well, if you watch a movie, this is gonna be really crazy. I don't know. I just saw a dad picture. Funny, right? Let's watch this. Okay.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna do one reaction.
Oh, I know he lied.
I just wish the connection was not terrible, yo. It's just this connection killing me and ads.
Alright, shoes on, Miss. Oh! Wait, don't. I'm cleaning it. I'm not.
Cleaning. Dead on the
Domes.
Look.
Right there.
Going in there, buddy.
Look good. Child, he was jacking the bean.
Can I come in?
Oh, yeah, girl.
Is it okay if I?
Yeah, yeah.
Daddy was trying to come play football. Me, trying to football. He wanted to catch a nut.
Listen, get him.
Oh,
I'm gonna
You were
I'm
just
gonna-
going.
I'm gonna scare.
oh, and he took a glance at the bean. Look,
I'll leave you to it then.
he keep looking at the bean. I'ma leave you two at this like it's a person.
I love you.
Oh, something ain't right.
I love you back.
Look at her. Oh.
And if we can try mom's hands on the big. And if we can try mom's straight ahead. Please. Look at that big.
Was I not smiling?
Yeah. I don't know why I was expecting a little more from the dude, but you know, yeah, it's shocking. But anyways, that is all time I have for tonight. Tomorrow will be comic raffle night, dollar comic raffle night. So if you know of anyone, whether it be a friend, a family member, a neighbor, a coworker that might be into it, or potentially could be into it, let them know. All right. Again, entries are as low as $1 with a maximum of $25. Obviously, if you want to put more on the entries, you can, but the limit that I always tell people, maximum limit is 25. Yeah, we're still raffling the Silver Sable and the Wild Pack issue number 1. That'll be tomorrow night around 8 p.m. and also Thursday night at 8 p.m. No later than 8:30 p.m. That'll still go on. But yeah, wrapping things up. I want to thank every single one of you guys who were here. Again, it's been a journey to build the second channel up from the ground up. So every single one of you guys who are here, I really, truly, genuinely appreciate the love and support you guys always show me. Really means a lot to me. But yeah, I will let you guys go for tonight. And as always, this was JDQ with Vision iView TV out.